Welcome everyone, Static here, and for today's episode, I figured we could all use a bit of a change of scenery, since for the last few episodes we've been underground, so I've got a bit of a project planned in the nether today. And speaking of scenery, I think the path area here is starting to look a lot nicer, even just with the addition of these path blocks here. It's not much, but I think it adds a fair bit to the area, as do the bees. I think the bees are really cool having them around the base, and so I've been repopulating them because I keep accidentally killing them, so I'm going to try and avoid doing that as well. And I of course want to add in some bushes and stuff around the path to pretty it up as well. And of course the river needs a fair bit of attention too. You can see it's looking pretty ugly at the moment. I removed a whole heap of the sand and gravel from the bottom of the riverbank and the little pond over there, partially because I need sand and gravel for today's project to make some concrete, but also because I wanted to make the rivers a bit deeper so it's a little bit easier to swim through. So in this area here, I also need to finish the bridge, obviously, and the door here. The door was meant to be a little bit of a troll at the end of last episode, and I was going to replace it with some piston door. I need pretty much all of my redstone for today's project though, so the door's going to have to wait, and it still works at the moment, so yeah, I'll just leave that there. You can see I've gotten rid of the ladder as well. There is another ladder over here, but this is just to a cave that I found and haven't fully explored yet. I've moved the vertical access over to these water streams here. So these might move, the position of these, but for now they do the trick. You can see I can access my slime farm pretty easily. The rates are pretty slow on this thing, but yeah, fairly consistently when I come down here, there'll be at least a little slime. At the moment I hit a bit of a jackpot. It's normally not quite this fruitful, but that's okay, we'll take it. Yeah, I will expand this farm eventually, but for now, it does what I need it to do. I was just able to gather enough slime for what I've got planned today. So the bubble vader for the slime farm there, I actually put in by hand with buckets, and then I saw comments on my previous videos about using the kelp, and so for this bubble vader here up to the portal room, I actually used the kelp, which makes it a lot easier. Place down one water block at the top of the bubble vader, kelp all the way through, and then break the kelp, and you've got source blocks. Very, very convenient, so I'll definitely be doing it that way from now on. As I said, these elevators and access points and stuff here may change, because this one, the drop down from the portal room, it's sort of right in the middle of the room, so I'm probably going to end up moving a lot of this, but for now, it's a lot better than the ladder, so I'm very, very happy to have this here. You can see I've also moved all of my items over to the storage area that we put together last episode, and hilariously, it takes up a very small amount of the storage that we installed in last episode, but that's great. It feels good having so much space, so much room to expand. And I've put aside a whole heap of items for today's project. It looks like a lot more than it actually is, just because I haven't put together the pistons yet. Now I have. But one of the items that I'm really lacking for today is ice. So this is all of the ice I've collected so far, not a huge amount, and that's largely because my ice production is very slow at the moment. I'm going to sleep real quick first though. Much better. So for ice, I haven't found an ice spikes biome yet, which would be great. They're one of my favorite biomes. I'll probably be able to find one of those once I finally get some elytra, but in the meantime, to collect ice, I've just been using the snowy areas on my mountain here. I've only got a very small ice collection area right here. It's just 8 blocks, so not even enough to make one packed ice. But it's fairly easy to collect and reset as well. But I do need to get ice a little bit quicker than I am at the moment. So I'm going to expand this same type of ice tray out along the snowy areas on the side of the hill here. Alright, so that's not going to be a huge amount of ice production, but that should build up over time pretty quickly, especially while we're working on the project as we go. We're not going to need the ice until a bit later on in the project, but we are going to need quite a bit of it to get the project fully finished. So ideally I would like to have 16 blue ice for today's project. But you're going to see that that takes quite a bit of ice. So I can make some blue ice, but I'll make as much packed ice as I can. So I got 20. And that goes to 2 blue ice. So I actually worked it out. I did a little bit of maths before the episode here. So I was thinking about getting 18 blue ice at the time. I would need to mine 1,458 ice blocks. 1,458. And I was using a 2x4 little pond to get my ice. So that would have taken us forever. So I'm glad I've updated the ice farm at least a little bit. In future, I will make a proper ice farm, and hopefully we can find an ice spikes biome as well. But for now, that'll do the trick. So we're just about ready to head into the nether for today's project, but there's a couple of final preparations I want to make before we head in. So I'm going to spend one of my ender pearls to make an ender chest. That'll help me take the materials in that I need for today's project without cluttering my inventory too much. Also means that if I fall to my fiery death, I'm not going to lose too many items. And that should free up some space in my inventory so that I can take a bunch of extra stone and build some platforms around the nether fortress to boost the wither skeleton rates. Because between episodes, I did do a little bit of grinding at the nether fortress and I managed to get another skull. This skull took me a lot longer to get than the last one that I got though. So it sort of showed me that, yeah, I definitely need to boost the rates at the fortress there if I want to fight the wither soon. And even though it has absolutely nothing to do with today's project, I'm going to name the horse. Also, I kind of like that as an inside horse at the moment, but that's only temporary. So enjoy it while it lasts, Shade. But this should be all the resources that we need for today's project. So just grab the chest. And I'm pretty sure I need to use Silk Touch on that, otherwise it just turns to obsidian. So I'll make sure I use the right pick. Still don't have a Silk Touch diamond pick, just got the Silk Touch iron, but that should do the trick. So one of the things that I did here in the nether, you'll see, is I've added a bit of a safety barricade to the back of the portal. One time when I was coming through, there had actually been a couple of regular skeletons right on the other side of the portal. Don't know if they'd like gone through my portal or what, but one of them shot me and I almost landed in the lava. So yeah, since that point on, I've added some OH&S to my nether portal there. I've also gone ahead and upgraded the staircase up to the fortress, which is much, much nicer now. I don't have to mash my spacebar, which is great because it's starting to get quite loud, the spacebar on my keyboard. I'm sure you all can hear that. But yeah, I also don't bonk my head on the way down now, which is nice. I made it a bit taller. So much easier access up to the fortress here. So the blazes are just over this way, and this is what we're going to be working on today, is the dual blaze farm. And the reason for that is this is going to be an epic XP farm. It's going to dwarf the skeleton farm for XP. Plus I'm going to get blaze rods, which will be great for potions of strength and for, you know, all the other potions. You need them for brewing, so blaze rods are going to be useful for that. And I'll also make some sort of a super smelter here eventually as well. While we're working on the double blaze spawner, I'm also going to add some platforms, as I said, around the crossroads here on the nether fortress, just because that's going to spawn a lot more wither skeletons, which I'll be able to grind over time for that last wither skull while I work on the blaze farm. Now that that's done, while we're working on the blaze farm, we should get some increased wither skeleton spawn rates, so that should be nice. I'll hopefully get another skull while we're working on the farm here. But the next thing that I want to do is disable both spawners. First step is, of course, to get in here and clear out the blaze. Now, even though I don't need to worry about the fireball attacks because of my fire resistance, I do need to worry about getting mobbed by these guys. They do have a melee attack. There we go. Now, instead of light, we're going to use blocks to disable the spawner. And as per usual, we're just going to go out 4 blocks either side. And then we're going to do that same thing, 1 block on top and 1 block below the spawner. And so I'm going to do that for both spawners. And it's worked already. I've just got my 3rd wither skull, so that means we will very soon be able to fight the wither. And I'm so keen. Never had a beacon before. Very, very keen to build my first beacon. So I've got to be really careful while I'm doing this, actually, because when I mined out some of the blocks around the spawner here, it's like a straight drop down from this tower. There's not a lot of support around this spawner, and these blaze, when they melee attack you, they do actually have a bit of a knockback, so I'm going to have to be either quick or careful. And I'm starting to realize that netherrack probably wasn't the best choice of block to mark out the spawning area. May change this, but for now I just want to get this spawner disabled because these blaze are starting to get quite annoying. So I didn't actually need to do 3 layers around the spawner. As you can see, I've only got 2 layers here at the moment and spawning has stopped. It was actually still a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, even with the fire resistance potions. So for the second spawner, I think I might actually try invisibility. Now, I don't know, with this invisibility, do I need to take off my armor? I think I probably do. Or does it just not work on something that's already aggroed to you? Is that what that is? I've never actually used the invisibility potions before in Minecraft, so... But I figure this would probably work. Let's give it a try. So they're still aggroed to me, but these guys were aggroed before, so I'm going to kill these all off. Oh man. Oh, that's not a great spot for a ghast to spawn. Oh, don't lag now. Jeez. Oh, I'm gonna die. Again. Or not. Oh man, that was close. Alright, jeez, I've never actually seen a ghast spawn there, and the one time I decide to rush the nether, just happens to be a ghast. Jeez. Gonna try out the invisibility potions again. Okay, looks like they're still aggroing to me, even though I'm invisible. That is really annoying. How much of my stuff can I get? Oh, get out of the way, Blaze. Man, they hit hard. Got a fair bit of stuff. I'll keep the armor, put the armor on, since it's, Oh, go away. Jeez. Oh, come on. Don't die, don't die. And I don't have fire resistance on me at the moment, so I don't want to get hit by their fireballs either. Really don't want to hit that pigman with my bow, because I really, really don't want to get mobbed by pigmen right now. And it does look like those platforms are working to increase spawn rates. It's also increasing the rates of the blazes though, so this area is getting dangerous very, very quickly. I did get my good sword and bow back, which is great. Those are the main things that I wanted, and I didn't really lose too many blocks, but yeah, that always sucks, dying in Minecraft. I had totally forgot I had actually increased the difficulty recently. I realized that I was playing on normal, whereas I normally play on hard difficulty. So yeah, bumped up the difficulty, and then I wasn't taking the blazes too seriously there, and I quickly learnt my lesson. So yeah, fire resistance, and we should be able to get that second one blocked off. And I just grabbed a pair of pants out of the skeleton spawner, so that'll do for now. Let's get this blaze spawner locked down. Tell you what, this job gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like placing down these half slabs here, right above the lava. At any moment, a wither skeleton could spawn just over here, run over and knock me off. And I think my fire resistance is about to run out. So exactly what I was worried about happened. I've been knocked into the lava. I've quickly exited the world because I checked I've got like 20 seconds left on my fire resistance. I'm in the middle of a lava lake. Don't have really any blocks around. I've got blocks on me, but I don't think I can pillar up in time. This is going to be really close, but I've got cheats turned off on my world for a good reason. So I guess we're going to find out if I'm going to lose all my stuff. Here we go. Why can't I place the block? Place the block. Get out of the lava. Oh man, I hope that was enough. I'll make a platform here because I'm burning. I might die from this. Oh, it's not going to do too much damage. Whew. Oh man, that was scary. As long as I stay fed, I should survive, but oh man. I've got no fire resistance on me. I've got all of my backup gear on me as well at the moment. This is like, if I die, I'm kind of screwed here, so hopefully I don't die. Please go out. Stop burning. That's, oh, there we go. But now, yeah, I'm not going to jump stack with half slabs all the way up to the top. I think I need to make another set of stairs. So I'm not going to have to deal with the blazes spawning anymore. I've got one more fire resistance potion, so I'm going to keep that as a lifeline just in case something does knock me off into the lava. But to help out with the project, there's some land here, and I've got a whole heap of netherrack on me. I'm going to build a bit of a safety layer around this the base of this pillar, and I'm also going to build a bit of a bounding box around the little spawner cake that I've got there. I really like all of the lava flows around the fortress here as well. I want to keep as much of this visible as I possibly can. I think this looks absolutely awesome. And now I've got the bounding blocks in place, so I'm going to fill the sides with glass, and that'll make this a lot easier, much more of a safe project. So I've got the one block there and then another block on top, and then I'll have a layer of glass. I'm leaving 2 blocks on top of the spawner. These blocks are going to stay here though to stop blaze spawning on top of the spawner itself. So I'm going to now put in the bounding box on the other spawner over here as well. Luckily, this one's not going to be as precarious as the one that I've just done, because I've got a whole heap of netherrack around me here, so I'll still have the mobs to contend with shooting at me, taking pot shots, but I won't have to worry about falling into a lava lake, and that's going to make putting this bounding box in a lot less daunting. And then once I've got both bounding boxes in, I'm going to start doing a bit of a piston funnel. And so the way I'm going to do it is just have a stone pressure plate feeding into a redstone repeater. We'll have some sort of a block there with then a piston on top, and then a glass block on the piston. And so that way, if a blaze lands on top of that pressure plate, it'll push them off onto the next layer. And the reason I'm using glass is sometimes the blaze will get stuck in that particular block. I'd prefer them to get stuck rather than actually die in the system. So yeah, I'm going to use glass for that reason, and it looks cool. And my fire resistance just wore off, so I'm going to get to work. So I've done a fair bit of work now on the funnels for both blaze systems. So this one here, I've just got the white outline of the where the pressure plates are going to go. On this one over here, I've done a bit more work, so I've added in some of the grey concrete. So this grey concrete here is where the repeater is going to go. It's going to power this block and going to have a piston on top with a glass block running along here. So it's sort of set up so that no matter where the blaze fall in here, they're going to land on a piston that's going to push them closer to the middle until they get into a 1 block space down at the bottom there. And so down here, I've actually got a little bit of access so we can see what it looks like from the outside. And you can't see much of it from down here, but I think it's starting to come along. Once we add the pistons in there, it's going to look really, really cool. And then once we've got the blaze in a 1x1 area here, we'll then need to bring them in together. And while I've been working on those funnels there, it's given the wither skeletons time to spawn on those pads. The pad's been working great. I've already got 4 wither skeleton skulls. So before long, we'll be able to actually take on 2 withers, which will be awesome. I've also been gathering ice, and we actually have enough ice to use blue ice for the project. Although I've actually spent so much time working on getting this episode out that the nether updates come out since I've been filming this. And so we've got a whole heap of new sounds to contend with in the nether. Although I actually really like a lot of the new sound effects, like the nether brick here actually sounds really cool. I like that. And the nether itself actually is a lot more atmospheric now, which is also really cool. It had seemed kind of dead before, and now it's There's a lot of different sounds. I really like it. It also means that I've needed to borrow a piece of gold armor from the skeleton spawner just so that I don't get mobbed by the new piglins. And it's pretty close to breaking, so fingers crossed it doesn't break while we're working on the blaze spawner. But the blaze spawners are just about finished. Obviously, I still need to put in the pressure plates, but I'm going to put that in as one of the last steps just because I expect I'm probably going to get funneled down my own system when I do that. And then I also want to put in an on-off switch for both blaze spawners. I'm probably going to use lava for that, but for now I'm going to work primarily on the downstairs area of the system. So you can see I've done a little bit of work down here, and I've made it a little bit safer than it was before. I actually fell through the floor and almost died once or twice. And I've put in some netherrack to sort of plan out what I'm wanting to do with each of these systems. So obviously this is where the blazes are going to end up, and then I want to move them closer to over here. Now, obviously, I can't use water in the nether to move the blazes, but I've got a really cool idea for moving them across, and this is what we need the ice for. So the idea that I came up with for transporting the blazes horizontally is this little contraption that you can see in front of me here. It's kind of tough to see from this angle what it does, but it's using the weighted pressure plates, and we're actually going to use mob cramming and the force fields that they generate by bumping into each other to transport the blazes horizontally. And this is going to end up shooting the blaze across the ice and then building them up in a cram-proof chamber here on both sides. This is definitely overkill though, because we're only moving them 8 blocks, and I've tested it. This can actually shoot blaze over 100 blocks across the ice. Now, the further you get, the less reliable it gets. Over 8 blocks like this, it should be almost perfect. Over 100 blocks, it works like 25% of the time, so I wouldn't use it for moving blaze a long distance, but moving them a short distance like we're doing here, it'll work just fine. And so all it is, the pressure plate measures when they're about to get to mob cramming, like we did with the skeletons. When it gets to that point, it retracts this concrete block you can see here, and then the pressure that's built up in the chamber allows the blaze to shoot across the ice. Then, after a delay, this piston is going to trigger and push the glass block forward into the blaze and then retract it back. And so all this does, I call this priming the system. This pushes whatever blaze are left in the chamber here forward, which allows the rest of the blaze that fall down into the chute to cram up in the back here. And so that allows the pressure to build up at the back of this 1 block space here. And the more pressure that builds up, the further the pack of blaze at the front are going to get shot. And so that's why we prime them here. I find that actually makes it a little bit more reliable. And to disable the blaze spawners, all I'm going to do is use lava, and I'm going to hold the lava up with fence gates. But to disable a blaze spawner with lava, you need to get the lava really close to the blaze spawner. So you can see there's this block right here, and then right below there is the blaze spawner. So blaze can actually spawn in that block there. So their feet can spawn here, and then their head in the block above. So what I want to do, I do want to keep this block here, and then I want to have the fence gates on this block here. The open fence gates don't actually stop the mob spawning, so it's not going to interfere with the spawner at all, having the fence gates on this level. And then we're going to drop the lava from a dispenser right above the spawner. So we'll have like 1 block of air, and then we'll have the dispenser facing down on top of this. Now that I've removed the top layer of blocks and replaced it with fence gates, blaze can spawn up here. So I need to work really quickly and get that lava in, get the dispenser in, and then that'll disable the blaze spawners, and I can get rid of the netherrack layer below. Okay, and so now that I've got the fence gates up there and the lava dispensed, I should actually be able to remove this whole bottom layer of netherrack and little bits of nether brick, and should still have no spawns here, so I'm going to give that a go. And there we go, so we've got all the fence gates in, all open, and yeah, we've got no spawns, which is great, so that means it's working. And to be honest, that wasn't as much of a pain in the butt as I thought it was going to be. I was really dreading putting the anti-spawning in there. So I'm going to now have to do the same thing over on this chamber, and then if we set up a button, we can now turn the spawners on and off, which is going to be really handy. Now I've got the lava installed in both of the spawning chambers. It doesn't stop 100% of the spawns because it doesn't reach quite into the corners, so the blazes can spawn just in the corner there, as you saw. But it's good enough for my purposes, and I might eventually put, I don't know, dispensers in the corner there as well to make it 100%. But yeah, for now it does the trick. So now that I've got that installed, it's time for me to put the pressure plates all around the funnel here. So I've got heaps of pressure plates. And then once I've done with the funnel, I need to then start working downstairs. So I'm installing the second launcher for the other blaze spawner, and this one is a little bit more precarious than the first one to do the redstone. So I'm glad I've got the potions of fire resistance on the bar. I think the chances of me falling down are going to be pretty good. Man, this is so much easier in creative. I'm very hesitant to shift on that repeater because I feel like could fall off very, very easily, and I really don't want to do that. There we go. Now I feel a little bit better. And with both of the launchers installed now, the last thing that I need to do is install some sort of storage for the blaze rods that I'm going to get from the system. So the XP is the main thing that I want this system for, but yeah, getting blaze rods will be nice as well. So I think what I'm going to do, just for now, I'm just going to pop... Still not used to the chest placement. I'm just going to put a double chest here for now. There we go. And then what we'll do, we'll have 2 hoppers here feeding into the chest, and then we'll just put 1 hopper feeding into that hopper there for now. I think eventually, because I'm going to get a lot of blaze rods from this, I reckon, I'll probably end up having like 3 double chests and each of the hoppers feeding in there, but we'll see what happens. For now, that might even be enough storage. Now, I may need to put carpets on the hoppers eventually, or lower the hoppers down and use path blocks or something. I'll try all that as we go, but for now I'm just going to try with the hoppers as they are. And yeah, let's give the system a test. So for now, I've just installed some buttons up in the top here to turn the lava system on and off. I don't know if I'll move that later on, or maybe combine the two so we can turn both on and off at the one time. But yeah, that should work for now. So now I'm just going to sit here for a little while, let the blazes build up, and then we'll see how the system works. Now, between episodes, other things that I'll want to do is I want to be able to AFK in this room here. So I want to make this area spawn proof. So I'll probably place carpets on the floor in here or do some other sort of spawn proofing. I also want to put in some piston doors or some sort of doors here so that mobs can't attack me from outside. So yeah, this will end up being a safe room where I'll be able to stay and AFK while the blaze spawn. Because we'll be getting a lot of XP from this farm, I'll also want to put some sort of an enchanting area in here, and I also want to put some things to keep me entertained while I'm waiting for the blaze to spawn. So farms and that kind of thing are a good option. Perhaps like a nether wart farm would be a good idea. Things that I can tend to while we wait for the blaze to spawn. Because I'm not a big fan of just pure AFK, just sitting here and doing nothing, or going off and doing other things while Minecraft runs. I prefer to actually be playing when I play the game. So if I put some things in the fortress here that I can use to pass the time while I wait for the blaze to spawn, that would be a great idea as well. We of course have the spawning pads out here for the wither skeletons, and I'll expand these quite a bit between episodes probably as well. But yeah, a bit of work that I'll do between episodes. Alright, so that's given the blaze a bit of time to spawn. Let's have a look and see how we're doing. So it looks like the blaze are getting transported into the cram-proof chambers just fine. So you can see we've got quite a few blaze in this chamber, and they're not cramming at all. That's because of the ladders that we've got there. This is a trick that I saw in a Nembomb video that I was watching for blaze farms. His blaze farm was a great idea. You didn't need to use any pistons or anything like that. It was just using the AI for the mobs, but I wanted to try something of my own design. And I'm going to want to get a sweeping edge sword so that I can attack all of the blaze at once. I could use like poison or instant damage potions, but because we're in sort of pretty close quarters here, I don't want to damage myself. And yeah, as you can see, it's pretty tough for me to hit the blaze at the moment, so I'll probably want to lower this down by 1. Not down there though. So I was able to clear that chamber without any of the XP getting stuck in the hoppers. So for now, this should do the trick. But every now and then, the XP orbs do get stuck in the hoppers there. And it's very tough to get the XP out. So I will eventually want to fix the collection area here. But for now, this seems to be a working XP farm. Also, between episodes, I'll build up a heap of XP and enchant some new gear. Because at the moment, my gear is pretty rubbish. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and apologies for the delay in getting this episode out. Also, let me know what you thought about the new mic. You probably noticed that the mic's sounding a little bit different. I did buy a new microphone between the last 2 episodes. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I hope you're looking forward to the next episode as much as I'm looking forward to filming it. My name's Static, and I'll see you all next time.